Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Chairman Ryan, Mr. Toole, Commissioners, good to see you all again. We have a lot of discussions here. We have all kind of discussions about all our expenditures. I'd like to shift a little bit and talk about potential revenues. As you know, New Jersey, Delaware, Nevada all has internet gaming. I think that's correct. I don't know if there's any other ones other than those three. And there are bills circulating throughout the legislature right now to legalize internet gaming and poker in Pennsylvania. I'd like to get your thoughts on those. The present bill that I believe Representative Payne has makes our existing licensees the gateway to housing the internet gaming, and puts the regulations and control in your hands. And I want to know if you feel that's the appropriate place for oversight.
I think it would be, yes.
I do as well. I agree. Have you had any discussions about it? Potential revenues? I mean, I've heard different numbers, anywhere from 50 million to 200 million.
To my knowledge, we have not, Representative. I think this is an area which is this is the area of policy that is one we are, I think, correctly leaving to the General Assembly and to the governor. Everybody knows about the revenue projections in New Jersey when it first started. It turns out that the projections may have been somewhat high, maybe very high. I think Nevada and Delaware are finding somewhat like the same experience, although revenue does seem to be increasing as time goes by. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an area where there may be a lot of educated guesses about what the revenue will be, but getting exact estimates just probably won't happen.
And in New Jersey, the last year, do you know what the revenues were? Was it 140 million? Is that?
It Representative, it ranges between 9 million and 11 million per month.
Very good. Thanks. And after inaction of internet gaming in these other states, has it had any impact on their brick and mortar casinos?
There's been an awful lot of other factors that have impacted New Jersey's brick and mortar casinos that I don't think you could really analyze what effect internet has had on the brick and mortar.
And if something like this would transpire in Pennsylvania, do you have any estimate of what type of time frame it would take the Gaming Control Board to come up with the regulations, and if you would incur any additional costs, any additional staffing?
Yes, we think it could take up to potentially a 12-month period to get all of the required licensing, to get regulations in place, to test equipment, and to bring in some additional personnel, particularly in the IT area, which is, we've conferred with these other jurisdictions that have legalized internet gambling to see how it has rolled out in those jurisdictions in the event that we experience that. And generally it's in the IT area. 4 to 6 people would probably be the appropriate number. If it's intra-state online gambling, you have to incorporate geolocation requirements to have a way to ensure that the gamblers are gambling from inside the boundaries of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the federal legislation? I think it's H.R. 707. I want to say Chavez or something, the congressman from Utah, about the repeal of the Wire Transfer Act.
Yeah, I believe that's what would reinstate the law to what everybody thought it was before 2011 when the Justice Department issued its memorandum.
Mm-hmm. And if this would pass, federal legislation would pass into law, it would essentially eliminate any opportunities Pennsylvania would have for internet gaming. Is that correct?
I think that's the understanding people give it.
Yes, I agree with that.
And do you have any idea about the potential for passage?
No idea. Okay. Absolutely none.
And one last question. We've also, in the Gaming Oversight Committee in the House, recently had a hearing on video gaming. Can you elaborate on the difference between video gaming and internet gaming?
Well, video gaming, as it has been presented, is slot machine gambling. It's not a computer-based or an online-based activity. It's an activity based upon playing slot machines.
So essentially, it's a standalone machine at an establishment outside of a casino?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's legal in Illinois?
It is legal in Illinois. It was passed, I believe, in the mid-2012. So they've had about 2.5 years' experience in that activity.
And do you have any idea of the results of that?
Well, in looking at it fairly recently, because we know that it's a topic that the House Gaming Oversight Committee has looked at. Presently, there's approximately 19,000 slot machines that are located in these establishments outside of a casino. Illinois also has 10 licensed casinos. Those 19 slot machines are located in about 4,500 different establishments. There's a statutory limit of 5 machines per establishment. Mm-hmm. That is still a growing market in Illinois, so it's hard to project where it will get when it's mature. But the 10 operating casinos have also incurred a loss in revenue during calendar year 2014 of approximately $87 million.
Okay, so the assumption is that the video gaming may have contributed to that?
That is the assumption, yes.
And one last question, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. When internet gaming came out in other states outside of New Jersey, which there were a lot of other factors in New Jersey, did their casinos see any negative effect in their revenues to brick and mortars?
I can represent that the executives at the Atlantic City properties have done as good a job as possible to develop what they call convergence, and that is using your player base on the internet side to encourage them and entice them to patronize the brick and mortar casino. That's the objective. I can't say whether that objective has been fully met, but at least they are trying to maintain a convergence between their online database and their brick and mortar database.
Thank you. Thank you for your latitude, Chairman.